Hi, my name is Sean Jones, and today we're going to talk about automatically visualizing a single memento with MementoEmbed. This is where you can share a single memento with the world through your blog. We're going to use Blogger as an example, and we're going to use MementoEmbed to help us generate the surrogate, whether it be a card or a thumbnail, or maybe some of the more interesting ideas like imagereel or word cloud. And keep in mind that there's a variety of different things that we can do with MementoEmbed. In this particular case, all of these summaries represent the same page about the Egyptian Revolution. There are cards, there's browser thumbnails, which are just screenshots of what the page looks like in a browser. There's word clouds, and then finally image reels and docreels, which we're not going to get to today because docreels are still quite experimental. So let's go ahead and get MementoEmbed started. Well, we can start MementoEmbed with Docker. As we established in previous videos, you can install MementoEmbed and the other DSA toolkit tools via Docker. Once we've run MementoEmbed and gotten it started, MementoEmbed can be run from your machine on port 5550. Now I've collected a couple of mementos to show you here. And if you're interested, this particular tutorial is available on GitHub, and I will share a link to this tutorial in the video, and you'll see it in a moment. Okay, so now that MementoEmbed is running, we can take this particular page, which is about the Egyptian Revolution, and we can paste it inside the URI-Ms field here and click Create Memento. Oh, next thing we want to do is, because we want to put this in our blog and we don't want it to be dependent on our local copy of MementoEmbed, we want to remove remote JavaScript. So we do that, and then we click Create Embed for this URI-Ms. And what it's doing is it's downloading Memento and processing it, trying to figure out what the best title, the best image, the best description to include here. It's also querying the web archive and asking it when this particular memento was captured, who captured it, and things like that. And so on the right, we have Blogger. And so what we could do is we could create a new post, and we could title it My First Mementos with MementoEmbed. And we can switch to HTML view. And the reason why we do this is because we are going to copy this code here into there. So first, let's describe what we're doing. This is a social card. Now that we have that HTML in there, we can copy this HTML from MementoEmbed into our blog on Blogger, and we can click Preview. And here we have this particular card as rendered on Blogger. Now, we can take this same URI-Ms here, the same memento, and render it as a thumbnail. Now this takes a little bit longer because MementoEmbed needs to go fetch the memento and then render it in an internal browser and then take the screenshot. And it tries to make sure that all the resources have been loaded. So as I mentioned, this does take a little bit longer. So let's go back to Blogger, close our preview, and begin our next step, which is another paragraph tag where we say, this is a thumbnail. Close that off, and we prepare for our thumbnail to come in. Like I mentioned, it is rather slow. So while that is working, we can look at the different things that we can look at. This is probably what the thumbnail is going to look like. It's going to have the banner and this just in and CNN logo and picture of a tank and things like that. Now, once you've generated a thumbnail, it will be much faster because this information will be cached. So we can right click on this and we can say save image as, and we can download it to our downloads folder. And then we can switch from HTML view to compose view. And then under this is a thumbnail, we can include an image and upload it from our computer. And take that thumbnail. Oh, wait. We can click choose files, and then we can take that thumbnail and we can upload it and include it in our post. Now, the next thing we can do is we can produce an image reel. An image reel is produced by going through all of the images that exist in this particular page, extracting them, and then ranking and rating them to see which ones are best. And then producing an animated GIF of the images. So we can take this and we can save this to our downloads folder. And then add this is an image reel to our blog. And then insert the image. That GIF right there. And it's uploading it because this GIF is particularly large considering all of the different images that are in it and everything that's necessary in order to create this nice animation. So we click on that, we select it, and now we can preview our blog post again, and we see that the image reel is sitting inside the blog post. And cycling through and telling us a story about the Egyptian Revolution that we can't quite get from the thumbnail or the social card. So there's different ways for people to experience mementos. And finally, the least interesting, I would say, is probably the word cloud. We can produce a word cloud, save it to our downloads folder, and then in our blog post, we can say this is a word cloud, upload the image, and then select it, click preview. And here are our examples of different types of mementos that can be used with MementoEmbed. Or sorry, different types of surrogates that can be used with MementoEmbed, all for the same memento. So let's go ahead and publish this post. And then we can view it. And here is a story that we can share with others, consisting of different types of surrogates that we can include in our own blog post. Now, again, there's different things that you can do here. We can create a new post, something more vacational. And in this particular post, we're going to use this memento. And we can go back, paste it into where it says type the URI-M here, click create embed. Oh wait, next thing you need to do is say remove remote JavaScript, yes, if you're going to use your own local memento embed. And then create embed for this URI. And it goes ahead and it works on this social card. And to get it ready, we can say this is our social card. We can switch to the HTML view. And we get this cute little clownfish and a bunch of other information about this item that's available at the Great Barrier Reef. Now, I'd like to point out that the previous memento came from Archivit, but this one came from the National Library of Australia. MementoEmbed works with memento-compliant mementos. So it works across various different web archives. So we can go ahead and preview this one. We see our cute little clownfish and other information about the memento, including when it was captured, its title and text and other things, and especially who it was preserved by. So we could do a thumbnail. Or we would just go back and click thumbnail instead of social card and create memento embed for this URI-M. Again, the thumbnails take a little bit longer because it has to render the page and then wait for everything to finish loading before it can take a screenshot of what it saw. Now this thumbnail should resemble this because this is how the Memento looks at the Australian Web Archive on their Trove service. So we can switch back to compose view. We can type in the compose view. The compose view is not being helpful. Hang on one moment. We can type, this is a thumbnail. And switch back to compose view. There we go. And then underneath, this is a thumbnail. What we'll do is we will take the thumbnail that gets generated and upload the image there. This one's being particularly slow because the National Library of Australia has a lot of augmentations on their pages for things like this particular calendar here, and there's a further calendar on the bottom, and other things that are useful for users to view and navigate through these collections. So here's our thumbnail. We download it, save it to our downloads folder, and then we upload it to Blogger. And thus we have a nice thumbnail of the page that we can then preview in our blog post. Now the next thing that we can do, as I showed before, is we can produce a nice image reel. And the image reel, again, is a collection of the top ranked images by our algorithm of what is in the page. So we can say this is an image reel in our blog post. We can download this image, save it, and then upload it to Blogger. And it'll take a little time to upload because it has some size to it because of all the different frames and everything. Select it, insert it, preview, and then we have this nice animated GIF image pulled from this memento. These are all the images that exist in this memento. Sorry, these are the top 5 images that exist in this memento. And so we get a lot of capability with MementoEmbed for producing these different types of surrogates to describe this content. And finally, for completion, I will do the word cloud. This is a word cloud. We download the word cloud that we produced with MementoEmbed. Then we upload it to Blogger. Choose Files. And preview. And so we have a variety of different surrogates for this specific memento, conveying different pieces of information that someone can view. So now that we're done with that particular story, let's publish it. And then we can view it. And this is just a little bit of what you can do with MementoEmbed. MementoEmbed has a nice user interface here that provides different types of surrogates that you can create with mementos. But each surrogate has a variety of options. Are you concerned that the fav icons that exist in a particular memento may or may not be available later? Then you can say, provide data URIs for fav icons, set that to yes. Are you concerned that maybe the striking images may not be available later? Well, then you provide data URIs for striking images, and we can select yes. And these are things we can do with the social card. So let's create a new post. A new post with data URIs. And this is a way for our content to live even if the archive is having problems or goes down. Let's take our little fishy here, paste his URI-M in there. We've checked yes for data URIs for fav icons, yes for data URIs for striking images, and yes for remove remote JavaScript. And it goes ahead and tries to download the content, produces a card much more quickly because the data is cached right now. We switch to the HTML view, and we paste the content in, and we click preview. So now we have data URIs so that we can see the actual fav icons that may not have been present earlier, and we can see the fish. And as you can see, it appears to load much faster, but it is a bigger page because data URIs contain all of the content of the image. So it makes the HTML much bigger. You can do similar things with the thumbnails, but we're not going to bother covering that. What you can also do with the thumbnails is change their size, their width, their height. You can change their viewport, basically how big the browser is when taking the screenshot. And you can do a timeout, essentially telling it to give up. And for some web archives, you can tell it to remove the archive banner. This only works for the Internet Archive and Archive It currently. For image reels, we have the advanced options of the number of images you can include and the width and height of the image reel itself. Also, we have the duration of frames, and this is a way to control how the fading in and fading out proceeds. And finally, with Word Cloud, there are no real advanced options, not yet anyway. So that is a sample of what you can do with MementoEmbed and the different mementos and different blog posts and other things that you can produce using Blogger and MementoEmbed. You can also use, you can do this with WordPress as well. Or you can use this with your own web page, anything that supports HTML. So I hope that you found this to be very informative and are able to use MementoEmbed in the future. Again, you start MementoEmbed with Docker using this command up here. And for more information, please watch some of our other videos for more information on storytelling with web archives. Thank you.